Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here today. We're taking a quick look at QNT, which is Quant. And just before we do, I always like to look at Bitcoin first, but I'll just kind of summarize the fact that it's stuck on stupid at 61,300. I'm not upset by that at all. Just kidding. Yeah, it went from 63 to 60,500 recently, last two trading days. It's taken a lot of altcoins and kind of just stunted their growth, but that's pretty standard. What we should expect though, since it's at a key level support, the price to increase. Pretty straightforward, right? So needless to say, looking here at Quant, we'll take a look at that. But before we do, just note I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. So if you are new to the channel, welcome, of course. But I just love trading, and I really love helping people trade and become better traders, right? It's kind of like a passion of mine. So that's why I created a Signal community / Telegram group. It's more of a trading community where we just kind of help each other become better traders, and it's a really awesome experience. Gives me a chance to be able to kind of work with all of my patrons directly, but more importantly, I send out signals for every single trade that I take, which is even cooler. So we all get to kind of share in the fun and the growth of our portfolios. Check that out in your own time. Now, Quant, here's kind of what's going on with Quant. I just threw up a Fibonacci retracement from top to bottom, kind of see what's going on here, of course. It does look like we're testing a key level support, so we'll just go ahead and mark that here. And it does obviously kind of reiterate the fact that this could and should be the bottom right around 256. Is that the right number? 256? You could even say 260 is a round number, but right around 256 is pretty close to the support level there. All right, so we're going to look at some other key levels. We can also obviously see we've gotten a pretty significant rejection around 0.618, which is $323. And then we also have another resistance level here at about 363. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and mark a few of these levels here to be on the safe side, because most of them do serve a purpose. Some of them are a little less frequent. So in other words, 0.236, we don't see that one as often, but that's generally what we're looking at here. So this is our support and resistance channel. So for lack of better terms, we've seen pretty decent amount of support here, right? The price comes in there, it doesn't drop below. That's a good sign. We also have a key level resistance here. Price doesn't seem to break above there. At least it's tried for a full month and a half, and we haven't had any luck. So all in all, that's pretty standard for a lot of coins in this type of situation, because you got to keep in mind this rose up very fast. So the fact that it hasn't come down even further is a good sign. Okay, and the reason why I say that is just because traditionally speaking, when you have an increase of this magnitude, again, this is over the course of time, right? So we're looking at August, September, October. Like in 2 or 3 months, it grew about 500%. That's quite significant, considering you might get an 8 to 10% yield on a traditional stock market ETF, right? That is essentially what we're looking at here, about 500%. So huge. And what should have happened is we should have seen right at this halfway point, the price came all the way back down. That's pretty standard. So instead, it's kind of working itself into the support level here. So I think we're still in good shape, all things considered. Will it lose its bottom here? It's hard to say. It's been tested 4 times now. And just note that the more often you test a support level, the more likely it is to break. Okay, so that's the unfortunate, realistic scenario here. And we also do have this descending pattern that's forming. So I mean, it's not like it's ominous by any means, but it usually breaks to the downside. So what I'm hoping for here is to see some momentum from Bitcoin. I think if Bitcoin can just kind of catapult itself to what, maybe 67 to 70,000, break its all-time high. I think that's likely in the next 2 weeks for Bitcoin. Then we could see Quant take off. Until then, we're hoping for it to kind of consolidate here and effectively bounce off. Another thing to note too, and we can kind of see this here, if we look a little closer, there's a good chance we're getting kind of closer to a maximum. So in other words, TD Sequential is telling us we've had about 5 days of bearish momentum. So yes, we could see another 3 or 4 days, but I think that's less likely. Again, this is all just kind of happening based on the fact that it rose up too high too fast. It's kind of hovering down in that lower 40% quadrant from its original starting point. So why don't we just go ahead and stop gabbing about that, and we'll just go ahead and take a look at the technical. So here's something that's unfortunately not forgiving, right? This is a foreboding. You could say the price is underneath 50 on the RSI. When it's under 50 on the RSI on the one-day chart, it's never a great sign. So there's that factor. We've also got a bearish divergence on the MACD. And a lot of times you'd ask yourself, well, it's soon to turn around, right? Not exactly. I mean, this went up about 500% again in 2-month time frame. That's a lot of growth, and that it deserves a lot of retracement, so to speak, because it came up really fast. All right, so that being said, that's kind of just where you're at. We were probably under the moving averages by now. Let's see if they've come up here. Yeah, I don't know if you can see them. Let me just go ahead and get rid of these things here. Yeah, so the price is below both moving averages as well. That's not always a great sign. So the only thing holding this together is a support level of 257. So if you got a position open, I would maybe set a stop loss somewhere below that, in between 220 and 240, just so you don't lose your shirt if the bottom drops out. But I don't think it's going to come down tremendously further, just based on the fact that we have a previous all-time high here at about 212. So it might be a better recommendation to put your stop loss around 200. Just be safe. Either way, that's just kind of big picture there. So again, mostly bearish divergence on these indications. We probably also the same here as well. We have a potential convergence on the MACD, but that's really just not existent at all. And we're touching 30 on the RSI. So a lot of times the common rule of thumb is to just buy when the RSI is close to 30 because you're almost always guaranteed profit. But I would be very careful with that, just based on the fact that we could very well see the price come back down. Again, unless you're day trading and you're trying to just kind of scalp and do a quick 5%, it's not best practice to just add your position here. If you're dollar cost averaging and you believe in this and this is your long-term coin, all good. Different story otherwise if you're just kind of short-term swing trading. Try not to hope and pray that this will get better because it doesn't look like it's going to. Hate to be a bearer of bad news. I really hope it recovers and bounces back tomorrow, but if we lose a support level, it's kind of going to drop the bottom and go to the next nearest, most recent all-time high, which I think is 212. All right, looking at 1 hour, Ishimoku Cloud, still below. No dice. It tried to break above and just got rejected out. So it's just that consistency of how the cloud will either work as a support or a resistance. It's just rejecting the hell out of it right now. So again, we're going to need a hope and a prayer for this to come back above, but if it does break the cloud and close above the cloud, I would say for quite a few hours, maybe a 24-hour period, we might be in better shape. That would be probably the first thing to look for. Don't worry about the MACD converging because those are going to be a little off based on the metrics and where things are at right now. So let's just go ahead and summarize with a prediction if this were to kind of go up there because I know you want to see what a prediction looks like. Again, I would say worst case scenario, prediction, price would come down here to right around 210, 212. I think that's probably a worst case that should hold as a strong support if we lose this current support at 256. The inverse, if we were to find, just say, a better case scenario and the price were to increase from here and we were to get some realized gains and Quant pulls its head out of its ass, we could be right around $642. That's a better case. I think that's dreaming more so, but that is still likely because it's consolidated for a long time. It could be like that pissed off state where it's like so tired of being held down that somebody's just gonna buy the crap out of the coin and shoot the price up. There's a chance of that. All right, and if that does happen, I would not say November is realistic for 642. I'd say best case, alt season occurs, Bitcoin has a blow off top, and we see 642 about a month after. That's my guess. So whenever that happens, that could likely be January, February at this point, considering we've had a stunt in growth in Bitcoin with this recent consolidation and the previous one. I think we might see 6 figures by year end, but from Bitcoin, but it better pull things together quickly in order for that to happen. We'll see, but that's kind of where we're at. So hopefully you found benefit here. If so, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much to my patrons for requesting that I cover this here, of course. And if you're not currently a patron, definitely consider subscribing because we only have a limited amount of seats available. We're going to shoot for 200. We're more than halfway there in only a couple months. And I can tell you it's a really cool experience. I share all my trades with my members, and I have the benefit of being able to work with them directly. So it's really awesome. If you want to become a better trader, jump on in there and check it out. Also, one last thing, the price is increasing next month too, so this month might be a recommended time frame to get started. Just something to think about. So I do hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. You take care. Goodbye.